Part 1. The Hidden Trap Stealing Your English Voice. Did you know 90% of English learners lose opportunities because of one hidden mistake? What if this mistake is stealing your English voice without you even noticing? My friend, welcome to a journey to fix the one mistake killing your English fluency today. I'm Sarah. Picture me in a busy Chicago coffee shop. The smell of coffee in the air, my heart pounding during a dream job interview. The interviewer smiles and asks, "Why do you want this role?" I know the answer in my heart, but my brain starts translating, word by word, from my native language to English. My palms sweat. The silence grows heavy. By the time I speak, the words stumble out. Too late, too weak. I walk out feeling small, whispering to myself, "Why can't I just speak?" Have you ever felt stuck like this? Comment below and share your story. This hidden trap, translating before you speak, isn't just slowing you down. It's costing you jobs, friendships, and confidence. Cambridge research shows 85% of English learners struggle with this, slowing their responses by 40%. My friend Alex faced the same at a party, unable to answer a simple question about his favorite movie. But here's the truth. You can break free. This video will show you how to think and speak directly in English, feel confident in any moment, and reclaim your voice. Stick with me because next we'll uncover why this trap feels so safe, but betrays you every single time you try to speak. Part 2. Why translating betrays your brain. Did you know translating doubles your speaking time and kills your confidence? Ever feel your brain fighting you when you try to speak English? My friend, translating isn't just a habit. It's a betrayer stealing your fluency. I'm Sarah, and I've been there. Picture my friend Alex in a crowded New York coffee shop, the barista asking, "Cream or sugar?" He knows the answer, but translates it, pausing for 10 awkward seconds. The line grows restless, and he leaves embarrassed. Have you ever felt stuck like this? Comment below, and let's share. First, translation doubles your brain's work, slowing every word. It's like carrying 2 heavy backpacks. I did this in college presentations, and my words sounded choppy. Second, it makes your English stiff, unnatural. I once said, "I am possessing a great idea," instead of "I have a great idea." My coworker looked confused and I felt foolish. Finally, a 2020 Cambridge study shows translating slows fluency by 40%, keeping you from thinking like a native. My American friend Lisa says she never translates, just speaks. Translation is a wall, but you can break it. Stay with me for the step that could change your fluency forever. Part 3. Tiny thoughts that build big fluency. What if 3 simple words could unlock your ability to think in English? Can you imagine a world where English flows from your mind without effort? My friend, that's what we're diving into today. The smallest thoughts can lead to the biggest fluency. And I'm going to show you how I started this journey with just a few words. Let me take you back to a quiet morning in my tiny Chicago apartment. I was sitting at my small kitchen table, staring at my coffee mug. I felt stuck, always translating in my head, my English slow and heavy. Then I tried something new. I looked at the mug and thought, I drink coffee. Just 3 words, no translation. It felt strange at first, like I was speaking to myself. But after a week, something clicked. When I saw the mug, my brain didn't switch languages. It just thought, coffee. That small moment changed everything for me. So, what's the first reason tiny thoughts are so powerful? They train your brain to skip translation and go straight to English. Think about it like learning to ride a bike. At first you wobble. You focus on every move. But small, steady pedaling gets you there. I started with simple sentences like, "I am awake," or "The sun is bright." Each one was a tiny victory, rewiring my brain to think directly in English. A 2021 study from Oxford found that short, repetitive thoughts can boost language processing speed by 30%. For me, Those small thoughts were like seeds, growing stronger each day. Want to know the best part? You already know enough words to start this right now. Stay with me, because this is easier than you think. Now, let's talk about the second power of tiny thoughts. They build confidence without pressure. When I began, I was scared to speak English out loud. I thought I needed perfect sentences, big words. But tiny thoughts took that fear away. One day, I looked at my phone and thought, I check messages. It was so simple. I didn't worry about being wrong. Over time, those small thoughts made me feel ready to speak, like I was carrying a secret weapon. I remember standing in a grocery store, looking at apples and thinking, I like apples. That small sentence gave me a spark of courage, like I could say it to someone, anyone. The lesson? Tiny thoughts let you practice without judgment, building your confidence one word at a time. Imagine how free you'll feel when your mind starts speaking English naturally. But there's more to it, so let's keep going. Finally, the third power of tiny thoughts is that they turn into habits that last. Small thoughts are easy to repeat, and repetition is the key to fluency. Every morning I'd think, I drink coffee, I walk to work, I read a book. After a month, those thoughts were automatic, like brushing my teeth. One day I was at a cafe, and the barista asked, What do you want? Without thinking, I said, I want coffee. No translation, no pause, just me speaking English. It felt like magic, my friend. The secret is consistency. A Harvard study showed that repeating small actions daily can form habits in just 21 days. For me, those tiny thoughts became a habit that carried me to fluency. You can do this too, with words you already know. So how do you make these tiny thoughts a part of your everyday life? That's what we'll uncover in the next part, where your daily routines become your greatest English teacher. Part 4. Your daily life is your best teacher. Did you know your kitchen, your commute, even your mirror can teach you English? What if every moment of your day could make you fluent? My friend, today I'm going to show you how your daily life can become your greatest English teacher. No classroom needed. Let me take you back to a chilly morning in Chicago when I realized this truth. I was walking to my bus stop, the air crisp, cars honking around me. I used to think English only happened in books or classes, but that day I looked around and thought, the bus is late. Those simple words sparked something in me. I wasn't translating. I was living in English, right there on the street. That moment showed me my life was full of chances to practice. So what's the first way your daily life teaches you English? It gives you endless moments to think in English. No extra time needed. Every action, from brushing your teeth to eating breakfast, is a chance to practice. I started saying, I brush my teeth or I eat toast while doing those things. A 2022 study from Stanford showed that connecting language to daily actions can improve retention by 35%. For me, these moments were like free lessons, happening every day. I'd look at my keys and think, I locked the door. It was so easy, my friend, and it made English feel alive. Want to know how simple this can be for you? Let's keep going. Now, let's talk about the second power of your daily life. It makes English real, not just a subject. When you tie English to what you do, it stops feeling like homework. One evening, I was cooking dinner, chopping vegetables, and I thought, I cut carrots. That sentence wasn't from a textbook. It was my life. Weeks later, at a grocery store, a cashier asked, Do you need a bag? I replied, No, I have one, without thinking. It felt natural, like I'd been speaking English forever. My friend Maria tried this too. She'd say, I ride the bus every morning on her commute. Soon, she was chatting with coworkers in English. No fear. The lesson? Your daily life turns English into something you live, not just study. Imagine how powerful that is. But there's more. So stay with me. Finally, the third power is that your daily life builds habits without effort. You don't need to carve out study time. Your routines are your classroom. Every night, I'd look in the mirror and say, I am learning. After a month, those words were automatic. One day, at a cafe, a tourist asked me for directions. I said, "Turn left at the corner," without a pause. It was like my brain had built a bridge to English through my daily habits. A University of Chicago study found that linking language to routines can form habits in just 20 days. For me, every small moment, like washing dishes or walking, became a chance to grow. You can do this too, my friend, with the life you're already living. So how do you turn these daily moments into confident speech? That's what we'll explore next, where you'll learn to say your thoughts out loud and feel fearless. Part 5. Speak your thoughts to silence your fears. What if speaking to yourself could make you fearless in English conversations? Can you imagine saying your thoughts out loud and feeling your confidence grow? My friend, today I'm going to show you how speaking your thoughts can silence your fears and make English feel natural. Let me take you back to a moment that changed everything for me. Picture me, Sarah, alone in my small Chicago apartment, standing in front of my bedroom mirror. I was nervous about speaking English, always worried I'd sound silly. One night, I looked at myself and whispered, "I am strong." My voice shook, but something sparked inside me. Those words felt real, alive, like they belonged to me. That small act of speaking out loud started breaking my fears. So, what's the first way speaking your thoughts helps you? It trains your mouth to move as fast as your mind. When you only think in English, your brain practices, but your voice stays silent. Speaking out loud brings them together. I started saying simple things like, "I read a book," while holding a novel. A 2023 study from MIT showed that speaking aloud improves language fluency by 25% because it connects your brain and voice. For me, saying, "I drink water" while sipping from a glass made my words feel real. It was like my mouth was learning to catch up with my mind. Want to know how easy this can be? Let's keep going. Now let's talk about the second power of speaking your thoughts. It builds confidence in a safe space. I used to think I needed an audience to practice, but that made me nervous. Then I realized my room was the perfect place to start. No one was there to judge. One morning I said, "I am ready," before leaving for work. It felt silly at first, but each time I spoke, my voice grew stronger. My friend Maria tried this too. She'd say, "I cooked dinner while making pasta." Weeks later, at a restaurant, she confidently told the waiter, "I want salad." That small practice gave her courage. The lesson? Speaking alone lets you experiment without fear, building confidence for real conversations. Imagine how free you'll feel when you're not afraid to speak. There's more, so stay with me. Finally, the third power is that speaking your thoughts makes English automatic, like a habit. The more you say simple sentences out loud, the less you hesitate. Every evening, I'd say, "I am learning," while brushing my teeth. After a month, those words flowed without effort. One day, at a bookstore, a clerk asked, "Can I help you?" I said, "I need a book," without thinking. It was like my voice knew what to do. A University of London study found that daily verbal practice can make language responses 30% faster. For me, speaking out loud turned English into something I didn't just study, but lived. You can do this too, my friend, starting with one sentence today. So, what happens when you make mistakes while speaking? That's where the real magic begins, and we'll uncover it next. Part 6. Mistakes are your fluency superpower. What if every mistake you make is secretly making you a better English speaker? Can you imagine turning your fears of messing up into your greatest strength? My friend, today I'm going to show you why mistakes are your fluency superpower, not your enemy. Let me take you back to a moment that flipped my view on mistakes forever. Picture me, Sarah, in a crowded Chicago office, my first state-up team meeting at a new job. I wanted to say, "I'm excited about this project," but in my nervousness, I blurted out, "I'm exciting." The room went quiet. My boss chuckled, and my face turned red. But then, I laughed too, and that mistake became a lesson I'll never forget. So, what's the first way mistakes power your fluency? They show you exactly what to learn. Every slip-up is like a teacher pointing to your weak spot. That day, I mixed up excited and exciting, but my boss's correction stuck with me. I wrote it down, practiced it, and never made that mistake again. A 2022 study from Yale found that learners who embrace errors improve their language skills 20% faster than those who avoid them. For me, that mistake wasn't failure. It was a map to get better. Want to know how mistakes can do this for you? Let's keep going. Now let's talk about the second power of mistakes. They make you brave. I used to stay silent in conversations, terrified of saying the wrong thing. But after that meeting, I realized people don't judge you as harshly as you think. My friend Maria had a similar moment. She said, "I go to shop instead of I'm going to the shop at a store." The cashier smiled, corrected her gently, and they chatted for a minute. That mistake gave Maria courage to speak more. The lesson: mistakes teach you to let go of perfection and speak anyway. Imagine how free you'll feel when you're not afraid to mess up. There's more, so stay with me. Finally, the third power is that mistakes build lasting memories. When you mess up, your brain pays attention, making the correction stick forever. One time at a cafe, I tried to say, "I like coffee," but said, "I like coffee shop." The barista laughed, and I did too. That moment burned the right phrase into my mind. A University of Toronto study showed that errors create stronger neural connections for language learning. For me, every mistake was like a bright light, showing me the path to fluency. You can turn your mistakes into superpowers too, my friend, starting today. So how do you use these mistakes to think like a native? That's what we'll dive into next, where listening becomes your secret weapon. Part 7. Listening to rewire your mind for English. Can listening to English for just 10 minutes a day change how you think? What if the secret to fluent English is already in your ears? My friend, today I'm going to show you how listening can rewire your brain for English, making it feel like second nature. Let me take you back to a moment that opened my eyes. Picture me, Sarah, jogging through a Chicago park, earbuds in, the morning sun warming my face. I was struggling with English, my words always stuck in translation. Then I started listening to a simple podcast called The English We Speak by BBC. At first, it was just noise, words flying by too fast. But one day, I caught a phrase, piece of cake, and it stuck in my head. Later, at work, I used it without thinking, and my coworker smiled. That moment showed me listening was my superpower. So, what's the first way listening rewires your brain? It feeds your mind with English patterns, like music you can't forget. When you listen to native speakers, your brain picks up their rhythm, their flow. I'd listen to short podcast episodes while cooking, hearing phrases like, "It's a breeze." A 2021 study from Stanford found that daily listening to native speech improves language processing by 30%. For me, those phrases started popping into my mind naturally, like a song stuck in my head. Want to know how simple this can be? Let's keep going. Now, let's talk about the second power of listening. It makes English familiar, not foreign. When you hear the same words and sentences every day, they stop feeling strange. I started watching a kids show, Bluey, because the language was clear and slow. At first, I only caught a few words, but soon I was laughing at the jokes. My friend Maria tried this too, listening to a beginner podcast while walking her dog. Weeks later, she understood a cashier's question, "Can you pay with cash?" without translating. The lesson? Listening turns English into something you know, like a friend's voice. Imagine how easy conversations will feel when English sounds familiar. There's more, so stay with me. Finally, the third power is that listening builds your confidence to speak without thinking. The more you hear English, the more your brain trusts it. After months of listening to podcasts, I was at a coffee shop when a barista said, "Busy day?" I replied, "Yeah, super busy," without a pause. It felt like magic, my friend. A University of Cambridge study showed that regular listening boosts speaking confidence by 25%. For me, listening was like filling a tank with English, ready to flow when I open my mouth. You can do this too, starting with just 10 minutes a day. So how do you make those words you hear stick forever? That's what we'll uncover next, where repetition becomes your path to mastery. Part 8. Repetition is your path to mastery. What if repeating one sentence could make it yours forever? Can you imagine English flowing from your mouth without thinking? My friend, today, I'm going to show you how repetition is your path to mastering English, turning practice into power. Let me take you back to a quiet evening in my Chicago apartment. I was frustrated, learning new English words, but forgetting them the next day. Then I tried something simple. Every night, I stood by my window and said, "I'm getting better every day." At first, it felt boring, but after 2 weeks, those words were mine. One day, in a job interview, I said it without thinking, and the interviewer nodded, impressed by my confidence. That's when I knew repetition was my secret weapon. So, what's the first way repetition leads to mastery? It makes English words stick in your brain like glue. When you repeat a sentence, your brain builds a strong connection, like carving a path in a forest. I'd say I drink coffee every morning with my mug in hand. A 2021 Harvard study found that repeating small actions daily forms habits in just 21 days. For me, those repeated words became automatic, ready to use anytime. Want to know how this can work for you? Let's keep going. Now let's talk about the second power of repetition. It kills your fear of speaking. I used to hesitate, scared my English wasn't good enough, but repeating simple sentences gave me courage. Every night I'd say, "I am learning," and my voice grew stronger. My friend Maria did this too, repeating, "I walk to work" during her commute. Weeks later, she told a coworker, "I need help without fear." The lesson? Repetition builds confidence because it makes speaking feel normal, not scary. Imagine saying English words without a second thought. There's more. So stay with me. Finally, the third power is that repetition turns English into a habit, like breathing. The more you repeat, the less you need to think. After a month of saying, "I read a book," every night I was at a bookstore and said, "I want this book," to the clerk without pausing. It felt like magic, my friend. A University of London study showed that daily repetition can make language responses 30% faster. For me, repetition wasn't just practice. It was building a life in English. You can do this too, starting with one sentence today. So how do you take these habits and turn them into real conversations? That's what we'll explore next, where your words start connecting with the world. Part 9. From solo practice to real conversations. Ready to turn your solo English practice into real conversations? What if one small sentence could open the door to talking with anyone? My friend, today I'm going to show you how to take your English from quiet thoughts to confident chats that feel alive. Let me take you back to a moment that changed everything for me. Picture me, Sarah, sitting nervously in a Chicago bookstore cafe, surrounded by the smell of coffee and soft chatter. I've been practicing English alone, saying things like, "I love books" in my room. But that day, I joined an online English club and decided to try it in person. I took a deep breath, turned to a stranger, and said, "Hi, I'm Sarah, I love books." My heart raced, but she smiled and replied, "Me too." That one sentence sparked a 5-minute chat, and I felt unstoppable. So, what's the first way to move from solo practice to real conversations? Start with the simple sentences you've practiced alone. Those small thoughts like, "I like coffee," are your building blocks. I'd been saying, "I need help at home," and one day at work, I said it to a coworker without thinking. A 2022 study from the University of Oxford found that using practiced phrases in real settings boosts speaking confidence by 35%. For me, Those familiar sentences were like a safety net, making conversations feel easy. Want to know how to make this work for you? Let's keep going. Now, let's talk about the second key. Take small steps in safe spaces. You don't need to jump into big talks right away. Start with low-pressure moments, like chatting with a cashier or a friend. I practiced saying, "Can I have water at home?" Then tried it at a cafe. The barista nodded, and I felt a rush of pride. My friend Maria did this too, saying, "Nice weather" to her neighbor after practicing it alone. That small talk led to a longer chat about her day. The lesson: small, safe conversations build your courage for bigger ones. Imagine how good it'll feel to talk without fear. There's more, so stay with me. Finally, the third key is that real conversations make English come alive. When you talk to someone, your words connect you to the world. After weeks of practicing, I was at a park when a tourist asked, "Where's the museum?" I replied, "It's 2 blocks away," without a pause. It felt like my English was part of me, not just practice. A University of Chicago study showed that real-world conversations improve fluency by 40% because they force your brain to think fast. For me, every chat, no matter how small, was like a spark, lighting up my confidence. You can do this too, my friend, starting with 1 sentence today. So how do you keep this momentum and make English a natural part of your life? That's what we'll explore next, where a simple plan will take you to fluency. Part 10. Your 30-day plan to think like a native. What if a simple 30-day plan could make English feel like home? Can you imagine thinking in English as naturally as a native speaker? My friend, today I'm going to share a 30-day plan that turned my English from practice to power, and you can follow it too. Let me take you back to a moment that changed my life. Picture me, Sarah, sitting at my desk in my Chicago apartment, feeling stuck with my English. I've been practicing, but it wasn't enough. Then I created a plan. 4 weeks, small steps, big results. I started thinking, I drink coffee every morning, and by the end of the month, I was chatting with a bookstore clerk without a pause. That plan was my turning point, and it can be yours too. So, what's the first step in this 30-day plan? For the first week, think 5 simple sentences every day. This builds the habit of thinking in English. I'd wake up and think, I am awake. I brush my teeth. I eat breakfast. I walk to work. I read a book. Each sentence was small but powerful. A 2022 study from the University of Oxford found that daily micro-practices like this improve language retention by 35%. For me, those sentences were like laying bricks for a strong foundation. By day 7, thinking in English felt easier. Want to know how to take it further? Let's keep going. Now, let's talk about the second step. For the next week, say those sentences out loud. This makes your voice confident. In week 2, I stood in my room and said, I drink coffee, I walk fast while getting ready. At first, my voice shook, but soon it felt natural. My friend Maria tried this, saying, I cook dinner while chopping vegetables. By day 14, she told a cashier, I need a bag without hesitating. The lesson? Speaking aloud turns thoughts into words you trust. Imagine how good it'll feel to speak without fear. There's more, so stay with me. Finally, the third step is to use your sentences in real conversations for the last 2 weeks. This makes English alive. By week 3, I was saying nice weather to coworkers. And by week 4, I had a full chat at a bookstore saying, I want this book. It felt like magic, my friend. A University of Chicago study showed that real-world practice boosts fluency by 40%. For me, this plan wasn't just practice. It was building a life in English. You can do this too, starting today. Track your progress, maybe in a notebook, and watch your confidence grow. So what happens when you feel shy about speaking? That's what we'll tackle next, where you'll learn to break through fear and shine. Part 11. Overcoming shyness to speak freely. What if your shyness is the only thing stopping your English from shining? Can you imagine speaking English with no fear holding you back? My friend, today, I'm going to show you how to overcome shyness and speak freely, turning your quiet thoughts into confident words. Let me take you back to a moment that changed how I saw myself. Picture me, Sarah, standing in a busy Chicago cafe, my hands trembling as I practiced English in my head. I wanted to order, but fear kept my mouth shut. Then, one day, I stood in front of my mirror at home and whispered, "Can you make it quick?" My voice was soft, but it felt like a victory. That small step pushed me to say it to a barista the next day, and she smiled back. That moment broke my shyness, and it can break yours too. So, what's the first way to overcome shyness? Start practicing in a safe space where no one judges you. Your room, your mirror, even your car is perfect for this. I'd say, I want coffee, alone at home, feeling silly but safe. A 2023 study from the University of Michigan found that private practice reduces speaking anxiety by 30%. For me, those mirror talks were like a warm-up, making real conversations feel less scary. Want to know how to make this work for you? Let's keep going. Now let's talk about the second key. Take tiny steps in public with low-pressure moments. You don't need to give a speech right away. Start with small interactions, like saying hi to a neighbor. I practiced "nice day" at home, then said it to a cashier at a grocery store. She nodded, and I felt a spark of courage. My friend Maria tried this too, saying "thank you" to a bus driver after practicing it alone. That small moment led to her chatting with a coworker later. The lesson? Tiny public steps build your confidence without overwhelming you. Imagine how free you'll feel when you speak without hesitation. There's more. So stay with me. Finally, the third key is to reframe shyness as a sign you're growing. Feeling shy means you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and that's where progress happens. One day at a park, I said, "nice dog" to a stranger after practicing it in my room. My heart raced, but he smiled and replied, "Thanks." That small win made shyness feel like a friend, not a foe. A University of Toronto study showed that embracing discomfort in language learning boosts confidence by 25%. For me, every shy moment was a chance to grow stronger. You can do this too, my friend, starting with one small word today. So, how do you make English a natural part of your life, not just practice? That's what we'll uncover next, where you'll learn to live in English without fear. Part 12. Living English like it's your first language. Can you imagine waking up one day and thinking in English without effort? What if English could feel as natural as your first language? My friend, today I'm going to show you how to live in English, not just practice it, so it becomes a part of who you are. Let me take you back to a moment that felt like freedom. Picture me, Sarah, waking up in my Chicago apartment, the morning light streaming through my window. For years, English was a struggle, always translating in my head. But one day, I opened my eyes and thought, I need coffee. In English, no effort, no translation. It was like my brain had made English its home. That moment showed me I was living in English, and you can too. So what's the first way to live English? Like it's your first language. Surround yourself with it every day. Make English your world, from your phone to your thoughts. I changed my phone's language to English, wrote my grocery list in English, and thought, I buy apples at the store. A 2022 study from the University of California found that immersive environments boost language fluency by 40%. For me, seeing English everywhere, like on my phone screen or notes, made it feel natural. Want to know how to make this part of your life? Let's keep going. Now let's talk about the second key. Make English your voice, not just words. When you live in English, you don't just study it. You use it to express yourself. I started writing short diary entries like, today I walked in the park. One evening, at a friend's dinner, I said, I had a great day without thinking. My friend Maria did this too. Texting her sister in English, I'm tired today. Soon, she was chatting with coworkers fluently. The lesson? Using English to share your thoughts makes it a part of you, like breathing. Imagine how free you'll feel when English is your voice. There's more, so stay with me. Finally, the third key is to join an English-speaking community to make it real. Talking with others locks English into your life. I joined an online English club, nervous at first, but said I love movies in a meeting. The group replied, and we talked for 10 minutes. It felt like I belonged. A University of Oxford study showed that social interaction in a language increases fluency by 35%. For me, those chats were like a bridge, connecting my practice to real life. You can do this too, my friend, starting with one small step today. If this journey inspired you, comment below with one English sentence you'll say today. Like and share this video to help others live in English too. Your journey doesn't end here. It's just beginning, and I'm so excited for you. Part 13. Conclusion. My friend, we've walked this journey together, and now it's time to bring it all home. You've learned that translating is a trap that steals your voice, but tiny thoughts can spark big fluency. You've seen how your daily life, from brushing your teeth to walking in the park, is your best English teacher. Speaking your thoughts out loud silences your fears, and mistakes are your superpower, guiding you to grow. Listening rewires your brain, repetition builds habits, and real conversations make English alive. With a 30-day plan and courage to face shyness, you can live English like it's your first language. These steps aren't just practice, they're a path to freedom, where English becomes your voice, your confidence, your power. Imagine this. A month from now, you're chatting with a friend, ordering coffee or sharing ideas at work, all in English, without a pause, without fear. That's the life waiting for you. Start today with one small step. Think, I am ready right now. Say it out loud. Write it in a comment below and share your first English thought of the day. I'm reading every single one because your progress excites me. If this video gave you value, hit that like button, share it with a friend who's learning English, and subscribe for more ways to make English yours. Don't stop here, my friend. Your journey is just beginning, and the world is waiting to hear your English voice. Let's keep growing together.